TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. Your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. With me now, we've got Giant DoC, of course, and we were just live a little while ago, so if you missed that, catch that later over on Giant DoC's channel. And we've got someone that we've known for a while, but haven't had on with us live. And we've got Sarah, a.k.a. Apostate of Allah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Praise God. How are you guys? How's everybody? And
We're all good. We're all good. We're all good. So yeah, we got Sarah, who I guess by your name sounds like you're an apostate of Allah.
indeed, I am. I am an apostate of Allah. 'Cause, Allah leads whom He wills astray. So I just
Hang on.
happen to be one of those.
I forgot to add Giant DoC again to this. Here we go. Oops. Hey, Giant DoC, you hear me?
Hey, David and Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah.
Nice to meet you too. This is awesome and a privilege. Thank you.
Hey, we have Apostate Prophet in the chat. Yeah, AP is at DebateCon. Hey, anyone follow anything that's been going on DebateCon? Did anyone? I don't know if they're posting it live or going to post it later. Let me see. Yeah, so AP says, how do I look with this haircut? Yeah, it's definitely better than your normal haircut, buddy. And then Goodbye Park says, is she like the female version of AP? Well, pretty much anyone is an upgrade over AP.
Poor AP.
Yeah, poor dude, but he's not here to defend himself, so we can make fun of him all day long. Hey, AP, how's DebateCon going? Who got crushed? Who got crushed and humiliated? Let me just check that out. I want to know. I totally forgot. DebateCon. Modern day debate. It's all stuff from 1,000 years ago.
There's debates with that junior guy, that Muslim that's gonna debate, or I think already debated IP. But they have it's a background though. So it's not like you could, because you have to pay to watch the debates. But even if you pay to watch the debates through Modern Day Debate, you can't see those debates until they post it up. But I'm going back and forth with this guy, and I'm like, I revert for like 2 seconds. I'm like, this is haram. Shouldn't debate this man. This is bad. I feel bad for him. IP, I was like, this is easy. And yeah, he's like the literal typical Muslim. He doesn't even bother trying.
Who's this?
Junior. I don't know who he is, but he's debating. I think he has a debate with AP and a debate with IP.
Who's that?
He's some Muslim that just posts on X, and he posts these like really stupid comments like, Islam means submission. Don't you see how true Islam is? And like that's his whole tweet, and they get like 2 million views. he basically, it's like rage baiting a lot of the time. He'll like rage bait people, and a lot of people. Yeah.
He's not anybody of any like consequence or value.
He's like a walking Dawa script.
Yeah, they couldn't find any Muslim to fill in the Muslim slot, so they had to make do with this guy, this random person from X.
And now he thinks he's all big and mighty.
The only Muslim I see on the schedule is Javad Hashmi, something like that.
Oh yeah, Hashmi, yeah. But as Apostate of Allah said, that's like on like the background. You're not going to see it on the YouTube channel. It's only it's on like the
let's see. Daniel debating Andrew Wilson. That should be interesting. Poor Daniel. Poor Daniel. Good old Daniel. All right, so we wanted to talk to Sarah about how she became an apostate of Allah. Always interesting to hear. I just said on I mentioned this on Giant DoC's stream, but lots of people don't see it. They don't see if you're not paying attention online and so on, you don't know what's going on in the world. When you see, you're like, oh my goodness, Islam is taking over London and Birmingham. Islam is taking over. It's spreading so rapidly, and they don't see what's going on. How Islam's actually imploding in a lot of areas. And so anyway, we talked about a lot of stuff in that discussion on Pints with Aquinas. But he kind of zeroed in on, I think we were talking about it early on, about how the apostasy rates have been shooting up and so on. But I still saw comments like, really? Like, really? Is apostasy really becoming this huge thing? It's like, they're the ones who started sounding the alarm. It's the Muslims who started sounding the alarm, going, we're in trouble because our apostasy rates are going through the roof, and if we do not do something right now, we are never going to recover from this. So they're the ones who started sounding the alarm about the apostasy rates spiraling out of control. And so unless they're making it up, and the statistics show they're not making it up, Islam's got a rocky road ahead. Before we talk about, before we get into your story specifically, what do you all think about that? As far as, I mean, we've got two apostates right here on the live stream.
I think Islam is the reason why we see them scrambling around and coming up with these new philosophical ideas and the simplicity of God and stealing from Christian philosophy and adopting it to be their own. It's because they are falling apart. This is not something that back when I was Muslim and even left Islam and came into something that they were doing. And I would argue in the Orthodox Muslim Sunni thought that what they're doing, because what do you have to do when you're a Muslim? You have to follow the Sunnah, which is you have to follow the Quran, the Sirah, and the Hadith, and you have to go and live by that, right? So now you have the Quran and the Surah and the Sunnah and like these things that you got to follow saying one thing, but it's not making any sense. So now they have to start, I would argue it as being innovation. That good Muslims, the scholars should be telling them to shut up. What are you doing? You're stepping out of Islam now. That's what I see. But no, when you're desperate, what's going to happen? They're going to say anything. And because even these big imams and these big sheikhs and stuff, they're also desperate, but they're not going to say it. So they're going to keep their mouths shut, whatever brings people into Islam, alhamdulillah, it doesn't matter, So, yeah.
Yeah, these are actually, this has been a very interesting transition over about the last 7 or 8 years, where if you go back 20 years or so, and well before that, it's who speaks for Islam? Well, the Muslim scholars, the sheikhs. If you're an individual Muslim, your imam, dawah guys would have to be trained, and they would be handpicked and trained to be able to reach non-Muslims with the message of Islam. But it was all like carefully crafted and coordinated to make sure that, even though they're misrepresenting things deliberately to make Islam seem better looking to non-Muslims, they wanted to make sure that they were really dealing with Islam and not going off in any directions of innovation and heresy and all this. But about 7 or 8 years ago, the online dawah guys started taking over, and so the Ahmed Deedats and Shabir Alis and Zakir Naiks and Jamal Badawis and so on, they were replaced by Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab and Sheikh Uthman and now Daniel Hakikachu and so on. And these guys become popular online, and they become more popular than the Muslim scholars, more popular than the hand-picked and well-trained dawah guys of the past. And these guys, as long as they get a following, it's what do you do with them? What do you do? You can't correct them. You can't correct that. Who can correct Muhammad Hijab or Daniel Hakikachu? These guys, they get called out all the time. Who are you talking to? You're just jealous. You're jealous of my huge following. And they think this gives them like a mandate on Islam. And so now Islam is the public faces of Islam. And those who define Islam are anyone who can get a following on TikTok. And it doesn't have to be serious Orthodox Islam to get you a big following on TikTok. You just have some shtick about how you do things or how you're humiliating the kuffar. And it's weird because it has to suck. It has to suck for knowledgeable Muslims to see what's going on and see Islam just now anyone with a following can say whatever they want and completely make things up. We were just talking about this. As well. It keeps coming up on Giant DoC's channel. Like these guys will just, in order to respond to something, they'll just start making stuff up, making up rules of grammar and stuff. Oh, but this is this. It's like you're making that up. And so now you have a community that in response to criticism will just make up absolutely anything. But they don't realize, everything is going in the realm of innovation and heresy. And the scholars are looking at this. There's nothing we can do about this. We call them out. They destroy us. And so these are actually fun times of Islam imploding. Giant DoC, what have you guys been seeing in recent years?
It's the internet that did it, because Islam throughout its whole history, it's been surviving on censorship. Ever since Muhammad died, the first thing Abu Bakr did was kill the apostates through his apostasy wars. In Muslim countries, they censor TV. Up until internet, they censor the newspapers. They have laws, blasphemy laws, where if you what they call despise their religion, you can go to prison. And before the internet, like you mentioned, you had the Zakir Naiks and the Didats, and even in those debates, when they would release videos on VCR and whatever before the internet, they would edit it. So they make them look great. So that gave Muslim Dawah guys a confidence that, wow, we can crush Christians. And then they came to crush Christians on the internet. But the internet, there's no censorship. So the other side had a voice back. And now it's been 20 or 30 years with the internet. That voice was enough in those short years to undo all that nonsense that Islam tried to control. The script was demolished over and over again. The scientific miracles, the perfect preservations, demolished very, very quickly. So I think the apostasy rate is gonna, if it's already not exploding, increasing exponentially because of just lack of censorship.
Yep, these are good, good fun times. Everyone should be happy and not panicking over everything that's going horribly wrong in the world. Cool times. All right, let's take these first couple of super chats, and then we're gonna hear Sarah. You can start wherever you want and go into as much detail as you want, and we'll everyone's gonna hear Sarah's story. Let's say we have greetings, Mr. Spock. What does that mean? I know Star Trek nerds here. Wrong channel. You're looking for Mike Winger's channel. Shout out to my fellow apostates. Praise the Lord for all he's done. Sad I missed the call-in stream. I'll try again next week. That's AT Ministries. So keep your eyes out, Giant DoC. It's a good thing the Al-Zut never became lizards. I can only imagine what Momo would have done with them then. Oh yeah, imagine that. It's like, why would Allah punish the Al-Zut? They're the heroes who gave Muhammad the strength of 30 men. No, you can't talk about Islam. You need to talk about the Talmud, where a rabbi said Christians are stinky goy in source. Trust me, bro. That is good. What's crazy is that's not an exaggeration. It doesn't matter what I talk about. Why aren't you talking about the Talmud? Oh, little side note. We'll be talking about the Talmud tomorrow, everyone. Tomorrow's show, we're talking about the Talmud and how Muhammad plagiarized this book that Muslims keep attacking. Opinion of Islam on the rise in Texas. Is it true? You guys have any thoughts on Texas? I do.
I have thoughts on Texas. I think if there's any kind of Texas is a large state, and you have Muslims or like any other like whether it be an ethnic group or a religious group, they'll all flock into one little section. All right. I visited Houston. There's a large population of Muslims that are there. But you have to remember, this is Texas.
It's kind of the last place in the world where you'd want to start problems.
I mean,
like jihadi type. We're gonna take over this. We're gonna take over this place. It's like, if I were to think, maybe some Eastern European places would would be more resistant. As far as the United States of America, I can't think of a place that would be worse for you to start thumping your chest saying we're taking over here.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Don't mess with Texas. That's a saying. Don't mess with Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what you got, Apo Pucker, Al Puff Daddy, is you just have Muslims have been there for a while, and they've been doing their dawah and even trying to make their own Sharia compliant city and things like that. Who do you got down there? You got the Muslim cowboy and things like that. It's not going to last. It's as long as they're doing stuff and doing their dawah and all that, then, you know, they'll get along fine. As soon as they start thumping their chests, it's not going to work out. So Islam will not rise in Texas, not long term.
Mm-mm.
Hey, D Wood got invited as part of a cool new project. What do you mean? You got invited or D Wood got invited? Who got invited? You have to clarify what you're talking about. Muhammad said certain people of the book were rats, but he used the al-zut as gerbil. What's wrong with people? Guys, this is a serious show about Islam and people leaving Islam. People coming with all you. Everyone's got like zut jokes and stuff. Guys, this is a serious channel. God bless you and your works. You are doing an amazing job. I've been watching Yasser Qadi because my Muslim friends love him, and I really, you should definitely, hey, be sure to watch the Holes in the Narrative interview with your friends who love Yasser Qadi and his awesome and accurate description of how completely unreliable Hadith methodology is and what a joke it is for non-Muslim academics and historians. It's good stuff. But anyway, because my Muslim friends love him, and I really believe he is watching Christian sermons and just putting Islamic twists on them to appeal to Western Muslims. What a joke. Oh, you actually think he's watching Western sermons, Christian sermons, and then saying, ooh, this will be effective if I adapt this style or this for Islam. Yep. Would not be surprising. Thank y'all for everything you do. Y'all have helped me through a tough time in my faith and helped me to stay focused on Christ. God bless y'all. Thank you. And watch an ex-jihad testimony. Nigerian man dies recently and sees the power of Jesus' blood in hell. Allah is nowhere to be found. Huh. I'll check that out. I screenshotted that. As an ex-atheist who became a Christian, I cannot understand why Muslims want to believe Islam like Yasser Qadi, who know the truth about it but won't leave it. I wanted the truth at the cost of self.
It's cognitive dissonance.
And so you've got that. But it's just, to me, the weird thing is you had all these guys. Yasser Qadi's dad, Mazar Qazi, was one of the guys who popularized the myth of perfect preservation. That was just made up for dawah purposes. But then, I mean, Yasser Qadi, the guy literally wrote the book on sciences of the Quran and the Qiraat and the Ahruf and all this stuff and how they're going to reconcile that. So he knew about variants and stuff. We got a video of him saying that there hasn't been one letter of difference between any two Qurans since the time of Uthman. Now, he knew that was a lie. He knew it was a lie. He knew his dad was wrong in spreading that. And he just still kept spreading it. It's like, how do you, it's one thing to like not see the problem or not think it's a problem. It's another thing if you just know you're flat out lying and you think it's okay. That's creepy stuff. And and it's to the point, I brought this up many times, like, okay, all the arguments that you guys have been using have all been destroyed and exposed to the point where you guys don't even use them anymore. And you just try to find like new people who don't know anything about Islam. But it's like, Why do you guys still believe in Islam? If you can't give us any reason to believe in Islam that you're not making up, and when you make it up, you know you're making it up. Like, is there an actual reason to believe in Islam? I don't know what it is. I've lost track of anything that they're using that is supposed to be taken seriously as an argument anymore.
I think a lot of these people are like these Islamic like scholars, the ones like that have like quote unquote prestige. I have at times suspicion that they don't actually believe what they believe, but they continue on to continue their own dawah, whatever it is. They're still making money out of it. It's like looking at somebody like a prosperity preacher and what that the healer, faith healers, they don't really believe this stuff. Or else they wouldn't be wearing glasses. But they continue to do it because of the following that they're getting, the money that they're making. I look at it as a money-making scheme. I would also argue that Zakir Naik doesn't really believe what he believes. Like all these verses that you're memorizing from the Bible and spitting them out, and you still hold to what you hold, like, nah, like you don't believe the stuff that you're believing. I don't believe that at all.
And you can make a serious case for that from Yasser Qadi, because, I mean, he acknowledged, he said, hey, hadith methodology, there isn't a single academic anywhere outside of Islam who doesn't think this is a complete joke. And he says it cannot stand up to the scrutiny. It cannot stand up to academic scrutiny. And he says, so what do I do? When I'm in the mosque, I put on my imam hat and I'm Sheikh Yasser Qadi, and I take these things seriously. When I'm outside of the mosque and I'm among academics, I can't treat it. It's like, that could be like a confession. Like, hey, yeah, I believe in Islam in the mosque, in the academic world. I know this stuff is just complete nonsense, but it's my job.
Yeah.
D. Wood, be careful in Boston. I hear the Zut live there. Well,
he's uninspiring.
I'm the Zut chieftain. Now, the Zut squad, everyone, is going to be people who agree to share the story of Al-Zut on social media regularly. It's going to be the Zut squad. That will be the Zut chieftain. We're going to Zut it. We're going to Zut all of Islam with the story of the men of Al-Zut. Let's see. If Mo has the strength of 30 men, wouldn't that mean he had 29? Oh, wow. AT Ministries with a point that I never thought of. Y'all get this? So we don't know the number of the men of Al-Zut who are with Muhammad in the desert. I made a connection that if we suspect that Muhammad heard about this belief, which was in various places in the ancient world, that men could inject other men with their manliness and you would get the strength and virility of that man. If that's what happened in the desert, then that might explain why people were bragging that Muhammad had the strength of 30 men, because it would be actual 30 men that he spent the night with. And then the 30 men would have given him their strength. AT Ministries points out, well, he already had his own strength, so maybe it was 29. Fair point. If any Muslims out there want to argue that it was 29 and not 30, and that I need to correct that and make a video correcting myself saying 29 men, not 30, 29 plus Muhammad. And even you could even say, hey, maybe it was 28 and then it was Muhammad and then Diha al-Kalbi later.
Well, you'd have to assume that he didn't have zero strength.
Yep.
If he had zero strength, he will need 30.
Yes.
That's true. If he had zero strength and he was a little weakling, then he would need all 30. But yeah, these are just the mysteries that we have to figure out over time, guys.
You want to hear something disturbing about Muhammad having the strength of 30 men? I learned from grown adults when I was a child that Muhammad had the strength of 30 men. And I was told so matter-of-factly.
I was as well, but I was so innocent. I thought it meant like he could lift things or something.
I didn't know what it meant.
I
didn't know yet what it meant until I
but
got
they
a
blast
little
it. They blast it from the mosques, the sermons, the khutbahs. You just think, oh, he could lift things. or he could fight really well.
It seems like there should be some little cartoon or something like that about Muhammad. He's like holding these weights that are way heavier and stuff. And yeah, that's not what it means. Muhammad had the strength of 30 men. Let's see. Your 8 p.m. podcasts have become part of my nighttime routine. Oh, yeah. Just so everyone knows, this will, one of the things that'll be happening next year is we will all be, the various streamers and live call-in shows will become sort of more organized, and we'll make sure that we kind of have a schedule throughout the week of everyone who's streaming and stuff. Has anyone ever debated the white Muslim scholar Hamza Yusuf? And respect to ex-Muslims, it's very hard to lose one's religion and often family. Yeah, we'll come back to that one in a second. Hamza Yusuf, has he even ever debated?
Is he even a Muslim? I know some Muslims will say that he's not even a Muslim because of his weird beliefs.
Yeah, I'm not aware of him debating, but if he wants to, be happy to do it. Happy to do it. But yeah, we'll come back to we'll revisit that issue of losing one's religion and often family. That's something lots of Muslims have to go through that isn't as much of an issue for most other people. Ezra Gates says, "It's me, lol." Oh, see, he said someone got invited to a project, but I don't know if that was me or him. It's me, lol, part of the new project, Ezra Gate. Everyone follow Ezra Gate. You should recognize him. You'll recognize the man of Ezra Gate. Apostate of Allah, what's your advice regarding this phenomena of Muslims publicly praying around churches or blocking traffic? What should we do?
It's not really a phenomena. This has been, like, from my experience, this has been going on for a hot minute now. I don't live there anymore, so it is what it is. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in a specific place called Bay Ridge. All right? Haven't been there in years, so jihadis can...
I had a buddy. His whole family lived in Bay Ridge.
Yes, and it's very populated with Muslims in Bay Ridge. When I left there about 11 years ago, they were already playing the adhan out in the streets during Ramadan. And all my life, there was this one mosque that I would go visit. Fun fact, there's a bookstore next to that one mosque where after 9/11, they arrested 2 guys that were involved with it. But yeah, in that mosque, like, you would always, because there's like so much room, you know, the women were crammed up in this one small little room. And then you find the men, they're the ones pouring out. They have like 2 big rooms. And they're the ones pouring out through the whole streets. This is something that's always been happening. What we see now, it's because we have the internet. But this has been going on for a while.
Yeah, this is another thing where you'll have Muslims pushing until someone pushes back. Guys, it's very easy to ever deal with that sort of thing. Like if your prayer is canceled if a woman walks in front of you. So anytime this happens, a woman could just walk back and forth in front of them. And if they still continue praying, you know it's just for show. They're not taking it seriously because their prayers are canceled. It would be very easy for someone to show up and just start quoting things about Muhammad in front of the group. They are not going to want any sort of leaders. They don't want people to hear this. If you're talking about Muhammad and Aisha, Muhammad and Zainab and stuff like this, keep in mind, when they assemble in an area, unless it's illegal or something like this, you know, sometimes it's freedom of expression in the United States of America. And so guess dominant. What? You also have freedom of expression in America. Mm-hmm. And if they're doing a power play, in your face, you could do in your face stuff very easily. Yeah, guys, Islam is like extremely fragile. Just very few people ever want to push back. The moment someone wants to push back on it, it's just it gets squashed like a grape.
You could do that, or if you know dog walkers or something, get a bunch of dogs and just walk back and forth.
Now I want to move back.
They may ignore women, but dogs, they make everything impure, and there's a lot of Muslims are scared of dogs.
That's true, guys. Go ahead.
I'm a woman, and I'll get a dog.
Yeah, guys. So I mean,
It's
pay
the
attention,
results.
everyone. This is completely serious. If they're doing big display in Times Square or something like this, if you're just in front of, not you don't have to go up to them, but if you're in front of them, a woman or a dog, best or even better, a woman walking a dog, and there's guys over there, and they're saying, "Hey, well, what are you doing? What are you guys preparing for the night of Al Zut?" and something like that. Leaders are going to pay. Stop this. Let's cancel this. Let's not do this anymore because it's exposing Islam and it's not working. Echoing Erede says, does anyone think the apostasy rates could lead to more violence and more wars since Islam is like a dying animal in its death throes? Absolutely. You're going to see that. Yeah. Their solution for everything is to get more aggressive and more violent. And so the more they go into panic mode, yes. So things will be getting better, but they will be getting worse in certain ways. If Muslims block traffic to pray Salat in Cairo or Abu Dhabi, they would be arrested immediately. Yet for some reason, we tolerate this. Yeah, that's true. So Muhammad rode on the first train. Why? Why are you guys so weird on this wholesome channel? Zut jokes aside, I want to believe the Islam we are being exposed to is not mainstream Islam. Is what we see in the media actually what Islam is? What do you guys think?
I want to believe the Islam we are being exposed to is not mainstream Islam. What
Like what?
Islam are you being exposed to? Which kind of Islam are you being exposed to? Are you being exposed to the actual Islam that you would find on social media and these people coming around and not being afraid and thumping their chests? Those kinds of Muslims, like the ones that we see blowing themselves up in the name of Allah, following Surah 9 of the Quran? These Muslims the ones who send death threats and all these that's actual Islam. Now, if you're talking about mainstream Islam, oh, nice, so cute, I'm cute, I don't go Allahu Akbar, boom, like the videos that they go ahead and they post around, I'm cute. That Muslims, that is fake Islam.
Indeed.
Mhm.
I want to hear from Apostate of Allah, but there's a funny comment I'm trying to get to here. Let's see. We'll get down to it. It's got only a couple more. D-Wood, the channel name is Great Miracles Avenue for the ex-jihadist testimony. God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend. Let's see. Definitely wanted to get to this one. D-Wood, Hakikachu, pushing your confessions video out of context. Oh no, who could have foreseen that? Trying to cancel you from Turning Point USA. Oh no, what will happen then? And some Christians got scared from your tone of the confession. Oh no, I hope this doesn't completely blow up in their faces, like in 5, 4, 3. Hey, I'll just say this. Hakikachu fans of the world, beware of D. Wood who comes bearing gifts to attack him. You're going to find out the hard way, real quick like. Mark my words here, guys. See if I do not deliver on this.
Mm-hmm.
Mo wanted to play Bach, but Zut broke his back. Why are you guys so unwholesome on this wholesome channel? D. Wood, do you think that miraculous miracles happened with Muhammad in the desert? Yeah, I mean, if you consider that miraculous.
He took on 30 men.
That's pretty amazing. I do believe Mr. Pikachu is about to get utterly humiliated by Andrew Wilson. Oh yeah, that would be really bad if he gets crushed by Andrew Wilson, and then given what's about to happen on YouTube shortly, probably using the argument for the length of. Oh yeah, Andrew does use that. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be one for the ages. D-Wood, sorry for the random question. I'm looking to fast for 40 days. Ouch. What advices can you give me to prepare for it? Also, while during and after the fasting, anything helps. Thank you for the streams. The longest I went was 12 days, and that's pretty rough. I'm not a doctor. Let's see. Are you going water alone? I'm not a doctor, but I would get some sort of monitoring, like something that's checking you or periodic checkups or something like that. Like they told me when they were threatening to tube feed me, they said eventually my body would start feeding off my internal organs, and they would know this by a blood test, and that when that happened, they were going to force feed me with a tube. So there are concerns, but also I'm assuming you've kind of built up to that for a while, like you've been fasting for shorter periods of time and so on. Especially after the fasting, you're going to have, I mean, even if it's a shorter time, even if it's like 5 days or 10 days or something like this, after the fasting, you are going to want to eat a bunch of stuff as soon as you're breaking it. Do not do that. Do not eat a bunch of food. You need to prepare for several days with just liquids, because what happens is your stomach, after not being used for so long, at least this was my experience was horrible, agonizing pain after fasting a long time and then just eating breakfast. And then like a couple hours later, just horrible pain and cramps and so on. I read somewhere years later that some of the food just passes straight through your stomach because your stomach hasn't been working and stuff. It's like basically shut down. Your body starts like not using stuff because it's conserving as much energy as possible. And food goes right through into your intestine where it starts leading to horrible pain. But yeah, when you start consuming calories again, be very careful and just use liquids for a while until your body is up and running again. But yeah, basically be careful. Be careful. If you're already like very slim, I wouldn't go 40 days. So make sure you have enough on you to carry you through that. Wish Sam would leave. Oh, hey everyone, we have Shia Whore Mother. That's what I wanted.
I hear so much about you.
That's the one I get to. I mean, you're the one Sam talks about most. You're the one Sam talks about most. I've never heard anyone talk about anyone else as much as Sam talks about the Shia Whore Mother.
I have a question for Shia Whore Mother. What did you do to hurt him?
Something.
You broke his heart.
He loved you, and you broke his heart.
You broke his heart, Shia Whore Mother.
No, it is. I mean, it is weird. I mean, Sam's been stalking me for years, but he doesn't talk about me anywhere near as much as he talks about Shia Whore Mother. So yeah, these are weird times.
Wait, I have a friend who a few years ago, he that told Sam on the thing saying, "Hey, you helped me become a Christian. You helped me come to faith." You know what Sam told him? I wish you became he says, "I wish I was an agnostic or an atheist." Shia Whore Mother, that's all your fault.
Look what you did to that poor man. Anyway, that's a comment I wanted to get to. There are more super chat. Oh, one more, because this one mentions Bay Ridge. We'll come back to super chats later. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to get to Apostate of Allah's story. But Judas here says, I'm in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. It's worse every Friday. Yeah, I have a friend whose family, actually he doesn't live there anymore, but his family does. But yeah, they're Egyptian. But yeah, very, very Middle Eastern area. I'm in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. It's worse every Friday. They fill up the sidewalk outside the mosque, double park their cars without care, and block everyone. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, my kids went to school. We lived in the Bronx, but our kids went to school in Brooklyn, so we go down there. But yeah, on Fridays, they'd be blocking roads and stuff like that with cars. No one ever stopped them. You don't want to be Islamophobic. You want to be Islamophobic and actually enforce the law. Weird stuff. Always special rules for Islam. All right, Apostate of Allah.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Why don't you take us back to the early days of Islam?
All right. Now, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down.
I'd like to take a minute. Just sit right there.
All right. How do I was raised in a Muslim household. All right. My father is Egyptian, and he was a very, well, it wasn't until his mother came from Egypt and started going back and forth here did he become very
devout
Muslim. Yeah. And I was raised in, okay. Yeah. So I personally, at this time, mind you, as a kid, I did not know Islam was the problem. I had a very um strong belief that God existed. Like, I believed in God, very much so. And I had an interest in Islam. So it's like I don't have the story where I was forced to read the Quran and I was forced to memorize surahs or I was forced to go to mosque and these things. I was the one that actually bothered my grandmother while I'm watching her. She's reading her Quran, and I will interrupt her and I'll ask her, I want to go memorize a surah today. You know, this is what I want to do. And on Fridays when I was off from school, I would be the one telling my grandmother, I want to go, this Friday, I want to go to mosque today this Friday. So I would go to the mosque, and I wasn't really, like, even if I was to wear the hijab in the mosque, if I got hot because there was no air conditioning in the women's quarters, I was allowed to take it off because I was still young at that time. So I did these things, and this, like, literally became my identity and who I was. And I was very close with my father's side of the family, especially my grandmother. Um, so growing up, but in all of this that's going on, there was things that I did not know that was actually the problem was it being Islam itself. Like, for example, I wasn't allowed to ride a bike because it's haram for girls to ride bikes. For anybody that wants to know why, go Google it. All right? I'm a child. There was a fatwa that came out that girls can't ride bikes, and I didn't know yet. I just knew that it was haram. But I have brothers that they're going around riding bikes. But I wasn't allowed to ride bikes. I was told I couldn't wear jeans. Because if I wear jeans, and now imagine, you're told you're a small kid. This is one of the things that I get so angry about. Because you have Muslims, oh, we have our women and they're all dressed and covered because they're not going to be all sticky, ugly lollipops. But you sexualize a child when you tell a child when they're 5-year-old you can't wear jeans because boys are going to look at your butt because there's pockets. So that is not just, that also messes with your brain. It messes with how you look at the people of the opposite sex. So fast forward, I didn't yet connect that. Even fasting Ramadan, I'm the one, like, I was in kindergarten at the time. I remember I was in the kitchen and I looked up at my dad and I was like, Baba, I want to fast Ramadan. And he looked at me like, you do? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, okay. You know, I was a child, so I wasn't forced to do these things. My brothers, on the other hand, they were forced to do it. They didn't want to. So they had that in my mind. I'm thinking in my head, why aren't you doing these things? So that's my experience. Even when I was small, when I was a child, I got kind of reminded that when in the last stream, how DoC was like how she's still registered as a Muslim in the country where she was from. That reminded, when I was young, as being one of those, you ever hear those stories how the Muslim fathers would take because my mom's American, all right? But that's a completely different testimony on that side. My mother's American, so my father and my mother were not getting along. And my father took me, and at the time I only had 2 brothers. I'm the oldest of 4. Took me and my 2 brothers, when we were young, I was a small child, to Egypt. So we stayed there in Egypt for a hot minute. But there, I remember me growing close because my grandfather, he did like the calls of prayers and whatnot. So I had that kind of experience growing up. And then finally I came back to the United States and all hell broke loose. So that's my experience with Islam as a small child. Okay. It doesn't really hit that, but there was this one time I remember I lived in a house of chaos. Okay. Remember, there was obviously no peace in the house, which is why at this time my father took us to Egypt and came back. My mother and father never really got along. My mother, may the Lord save her, all right? She's not a Muslim, but there's a different situation that's going on with her, right? So it's very strange. A lot of chaos happening inside the house. And I
So your mother was never a Muslim?
my mother was a Muslim for a small period of time, but my parents were so, like, they didn't like each other so much. My father didn't even believe her. Yeah. So that's like, there was a lot of chaos, and like, I come from a house of dysfunction. That's where, yeah. So I remember there was this one time when I was a small child. This is like the first time I even thought about a different religion, where, because I'm taught about, and like, yeah, it was during Easter, and I know it was Easter because you learn about it in school. Now this is the time when I'm in school that even in New York City that you're able to talk about Easter and say these things. And I remember this one Sunday I was out, and the world just felt different. It was Easter. And I see like little kids, they're wearing their dresses and they're running around. And I remember me just thinking, man, I wish I was born in a Christian family. Yeah, because there's just that kind of, yeah, so that happened. I'm just gonna fast forward. I fast forward now. I am 16 years old. My parents get divorced, and my mom can't hold down a job. She doesn't keep paying the rent. We keep going, being thrown like everywhere, moving from shelters and whatnot. And my father doesn't care. We already have an order of protection because my father was known for already in the past taking us and bringing us to Egypt without permission. So my mom already put an order of protection, so that doesn't happen again. So that happens. I try to go and live my own life. So I actually become stronger in my religion. All except for wearing the hijab. Because during this time, during okay. Remember when I told you my mom was a Muslim for a little while? Okay. My mom was a Muslim for a little while, and then 9/11 happened. Okay? And then she decided not to be a Muslim anymore. And instead of just being kind, because knowing this is what her kids, this is all her kids, what she knows, she just started bombarding us. Mind you, when 9/11 happened, I was 12 years old. Okay? Do the math. It's okay. Not ashamed. I was, during that time, I was 12 years old.
Well, how do you know the Fresh Prince song?
Because I watched the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
Reruns, I guess. Yeah. So we had that. Yeah. So mind you, I'm 12 and I have 3 brothers who were younger. Okay. So my mom would sit us on that on the table. I mean, on the chair, not on the table, on the sofa. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of us. She'll line us up, and she would just start like all of a sudden, because she was raised a Roman Catholic, right? But she didn't claim any other religion. So all of a sudden, the only thing she would say is like, oh, the Bible says that you have to listen to your mother and father, and that you can't be a Muslim anymore because Muhammad, the Bible says that Ishmael would be a wild donkey, she didn't say donkey, which of a man. These are kids sitting down. Fast forward what I just finished telling you about my experience of how I was close to my grandmother and wanting to learn Islam and stuff. All that made me want to do is become stricter in my religion. But at the same time, I was suffering an identity crisis. When 9/11 happened, I saw the second plane get hit. Okay, ironically enough, I was in my U.S. history class. And I used to sit in the corner, and when I look outside the window, I see the entire Manhattan skyline, right? And I'm looking outside of the Manhattan skyline, I just see the first tower. I didn't know it was hit. I'm staring at it, and I'm like, why is there a chimney on? This is weird, because I literally remember hearing birds chirping, and the sky was blue, right? And then the second plane hit. I'm getting to my father didn't let me do a lot of things, but he let me debate him. He let me just debate him and just go after what he's saying and we would have strong, like, DoC would know how Middle Easterners are with politics, okay? And here I am, 12-year-old, and we're going on with each other. But I think I was always told Islam was a religion of peace, right? You know what changed my mind and took care of that identity crisis? There was this one woman, she was a white woman, that I always saw standing at the bus stop. And this bus stop was in front of the mosque. Okay? So every morning when I would go to school, I would see this one woman. And outside of that mosque, the leaders of that mosque would have a table doing their dawah stuff. And then one day, I see this woman wearing the hijab. And I was like, hey, if Islam was so bad, why would she convert to Islam? And that just got rid of my whole identity crisis. And that's when I became stricter in my religion in my head.
Powerful.
Yeah. My iman got stronger.
This woman at a bus stop. It's powerful dawah. Bus stop dawah, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Then let me go ahead and fast forward, go back to now when I was 16, because that's actually an important part, because that relates to why I do my ministry, why I have it now, that section. Because when we see these, like the Lily Jays of the world, that's not new. This has been happening. There's been Lily Jays for decades already before her, except there was no ChatGPT. So my parents get divorced. I get separated. I literally started to raise myself. And the one thing, looking back now, hindsight, this is Jesus, like holding me back. You know what I mean? It's like he protected me through all the stuff. Because statistically speaking, I should have either been living under a bridge or unalived. Okay? So there's things there. But I'm holding myself and I'm becoming a Muslim. I wore the hijab for a little while. I already, in high school, except just for a little smallest period of time, my mother one day, she found it and she burnt them all. That only strengthened my iman, David. And nobody said anything bad to me about that either. Usually Muslims, when a woman will take off her hijab, they start talking crap about you. Nobody in the community talked about me because they already knew what happened. Instead, what did they see? They saw poor Sarah. She's trying to hold to her iman, her faith. That's it.
They were like she based.
Yeah, I was. That's what they saw. Yeah. So that's the history over there. And then, there's like certain parts I'm like, you know what? 16, I'm 17. I meet my kids now, my children's father. I have two. Okay. I meet him. I end up getting Islamically married to the kid's father, right? Whenever I saw my father in the streets in this Muslim neighborhood, okay, he would continue to attack me and basically call me like I'm a whore, like whatever, right? So I only say this part because the reason why I don't have a relationship with my father isn't because I'm a Christian right now. It's because of this whole honor shame situation. I had an arranged marriage with my cousin. Yeah. So that's what happened. So that side
in the U.S.
Oh, that's common.
No, that's what I wanted to draw attention to. So you're saying arranged cousin marriages are taking place in the U.S. Now, when you said Islamic marriage, do you mean not officially before the government, but like in the mosque or something?
Yeah, it was in a mosque. I sat down and we signed papers for us to go get. Yeah. So we did that. And so that's why we ended up my father ended up being the way that he was with me. Even though we did it technically the right way, where I had him go and ask my hand in marriage and whatnot. Like, I didn't think my father was actually going to go on with this, because I remember when he brought my cousin from Egypt. All right. My father did not let me know. The order of protection has been lifted and whatnot, right? That's it. It's done. My father didn't even let me to even put on eyeliner, black eyeliner. Eyeliner is not even haram in Islam. Like, even Muhammad put on eyeliner because
Ali
of
Dawah.
yeah. But then all of a sudden, my father is cool with me telling me, go do your nails. Go do this. Literally, now when my cousin came, it's grooming.
Ah.
Yeah, so now you're allowed to go do these things. Now you're allowed to go outside with your cousins who are younger than you. Like one is younger than me and the other one's like my age. Okay? That you can go now and do like it's little by little. This is what he started to do. I'm not stupid. But what 16-year-old is going to say no about doing what 16-year-old girl is going to say no about doing her nails? Absolutely none. So I was like, but I remember, David, like in my head, I knew exactly why he was doing what he was doing. Then, I'm sitting in his living room, and my older cousin, she brought everybody from Egypt, all my cousins from Egypt, to the U.S. My cousin, I literally remember, she brings me a plate of pineapples. And I'm sitting down on my father's lazy boy, and my father goes and he asks me, do you smoke cigarettes? And at that time, I'm going to be straight. I did smoke cigarettes at that time. But I remember me sitting down, I'm like, this is a period of time when I'm 16 years old, and I need somebody to ground me, like keep me grounded. I feel like I'm literally a chicken with her head cut off. So I was thinking in my head, do I lie to him and say no? Or do I tell him the truth? Because surely it's been 2 years where we had a whole order of protection thing, like, a long time. He's gonna be understanding and actually help. It turns out me being truthful had me kicked out of his house. And so between that and me being with the kid's father, when I was with my kid's father, that was the end of it. He just completely and utterly disowned me from that situation.
So just to be clear, cousin marriage, good. Smoking cigarettes, banishable offense. Okay,
yes.
got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what happened there. So I go and I'm now with the kid's father, and it was, I don't want to say anything out of respect for my kiddos, and even for him, because he was young and we were both young, but he gives me the 3 times divorce finally, right? And I remember I needed to get a divorce. And you know what Islam says? How many times have you heard Muslims say, well, at least in Islam, a woman has a right to divorce her husband if she just has to go to the imam and stuff? How many times do you hear that?
Hundreds, if not thousands.
Christians, that's one of the reasons why they would say Christianity is worse than Islam, is because the woman can divorce her husband. As if that's something to be proud of. Why are you using this as a positive for Islam? Like, yeah, you have free divorces. That doesn't sound right or nice or normal for society's sake. But I remember me talking to the imam that married us, and I'm like, hey, I tell him A, B, C, and D. All reasons Muslims would say you can go and divorce from your husband. He's like, no. I called him 3 times. And he's like, no, he has to come here with you. I'm going to be straight up. A lot of the times I just initiated it just so I could push for him to finally say, "Inti talit, and then that's it. Right? That happened. So I'm just like giving you guys just like, hey, women can get divorced, women can do this. No, that's not the case. Like, you're literally under the mercy of what Islam is. Like, me in my head, I'm like thinking this isn't Right. Why isn't this being granted to me? I'm stupid. I don't think. I don't use logical thinking that this is what Islam allows to do it. You're just basically subjugated under Islam. None of this time that I'm thinking I'm using counting 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, like the Trinity, 3 gods, according to Muslims. This stuff is not happening. I finally leave because it took a while for me to leave that place, but I finally get to leave. I move somewhere else, and a couple of years later, I go ahead and I meet my recent I married a guy. He's Palestinian, Jordanian, Muslim guy that we got married 3 months after we ended up knowing each other. Reason was my mom lives in the same place where I am, and she did not want me in the house anymore. So I was forced. Like, I had to be like, okay, fine. So because we're Muslims, this is like, it's just make it halal right away. So we just made it halal right away, the marriage. This is where things become over. And I know there's a lot of mundane stuff in the beginning, but there's a lot of things that built up to where I am. And yeah, so during this time, I remember me sitting down with my ex and him being so amazed and impressed by me. He was like, you are an American. You were born in America. You have an American mother, but you know so much about Islam. You know more about Islam than most people in Muslim countries know about Islam. He was so impressed by me, right? So impressed. Then, during 2016, that's an important part, an important thing, and so you can keep in your mind, okay? How impressed he was about my knowledge about Islam. 2016, if you remember, during this 2015-2016 period, there was a whole ISIS situation that was happening, and with the Kurds, and
I've heard of such things. Yes.
yes, yeah, passing and terrorist attacks happening, these kinds of stuffs. Yeah, that kind of stuff had me like think, okay, this is like started putting in my head, if Islam is so peaceful, why is this stuff happening, right? But I didn't put much thought into it yet. The thought has been planted, but I didn't give it credence yet, right? Then one day I sit down and I'm all of a sudden, and mind, I go and I want to pray the Islamic prayers. This didn't just happen this time. This happened all the other times, but this time is kind of important. Whenever I prayed any of the Muslim prayers, David, like literally whenever I prayed any of the Islamic prayers, I would have to rush through it. Because whenever I would pray those Islamic prayers, I would feel like there would be a physical evil presence that would come, that was surrounding me, and that I would like, this thing is going to possess me.
That's weird, because that was Muhammad's first impression of his revelation. So,
Yeah. So I felt that, and every single time I would go and I would rush through my prayers. Now, you're not supposed to rush through your prayers. All right, that's forbidden. You have to take your time when you do your prayers. But you don't feel what I'm feeling. It feels physical as this, or my bottle of camel urine I have in my hand, right? It's like, it's very physical. Muslims would be like, oh, Allah's testing you. Allah loves you, and He's testing you. I don't say this out loud. I keep it to myself. I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's testing. This feels evil. Why would Allah test me with something that feels so evil? And that's what they would do. If anything bad will happen and you have any of those kinds of things, Allah's testing you. Because Allah loves you. To make you feel special. I feel like I'm get possessed by some jinn in my prayers to Allah because He loves me. Just think how warped that is for a second. And how many Muslims believe that and stay in Islam? I'm just having that sink in for a minute. Yeah. So all of a sudden now, as I am having these thoughts, I feel a burden of sin. Every Muslim is told, if you believe in Allah on the last day, you're going to go to Jannah. You're going to go to heaven, right? I would believe on Allah on the last day. Allah loves me so much that I didn't even have to revert to Islam. He had me born a Muslim, right? I'm going straight to heaven. I wasn't worried about my eternal security until one day I was starting to be worried about my eternal security. And I felt like if I died right then and there, I was going to hell. No more Jannah, straight to hell. During this time, I remember literally going on the phone, me looking for abayas and niqabs, and I'm going and I want to be even stricter Muslim at this time. But I'm also scared of me going to do dua to God, like those prayers to Allah, or doing any of those other prayers. I was like, wait a minute, Allah doesn't love me. Allah's mad at me. Allah's not testing me because He loves me. He's pissed off at me. So I gotta be a stricter Muslim at this time. And I remember the only reason why I didn't order anything is, number one, we were tight on money. And if my mother found out, all hell would break loose. And one of the things, like literally yesterday, what came to my mind. What came to my mind was a thought that came through passing during this time. And it shows you how manipulative Islam is. When I was little, like, I don't know, when you, I watched a lot of Egyptian movies and TV shows growing up, right? Egypt is basically like the Hollywood of the Middle East and these things. So there's a lot of this stuff that you would listen. And there's one thing that tends to happen, especially during this time. There was like during like Intifada time during these things, because the Egyptian people are very pro-Palestine, the people. Then, I don't know so much about now. At least the government now. It could be a comedy movie. And all of a sudden, what would happen in that comedy movie will cut to this random protest that's pro-Palestine, right? So what would happen is that's what's been ingrained in my mind. And what has been ingrained in my mind was Jew bad, Palestine good, Islam good, right? To the point where you have always these patriotic songs even come up on these satellite Egyptian, like Arabic channels. And this point, even though I'm going back, it's actually, it gets dark. My father had a calendar, and the calendar had a picture of the Dome of the Rock, right? And he was going to get rid of the calendar, and I told him, no, I want this, keep this picture, and I want you to frame it and put it on my wall of the Dome of the Rock. That, I can't tell you. Any other time, my father looked at me with such pride when I told him that. Like, he was like, wow. And I don't even think it was 5 minutes. He got a frame, he framed it was a white rustic frame, and he put it right on my wall in my bedroom. Fast forward during this time, the thought that came into my head was, maybe one day Allah will allow me to go, because I'm struggling, thinking I'm going to hell. What is the one way somebody can go straight to heaven in Islam?
Jihad.
Yeah. I'm thinking right now, because just a little while later, the Lord saves me. Okay? That thought came into my mind, and it's just the only thing that didn't have me think about that thought was later on, this is a noble thought, and Allah will answer it if it's His will. But that's where you go. That's the one way that you can have all your sins forgiven, and you go straight to heaven. Then, I get a dream. And the dream is me literally, I'm in my house, and my kids and my mother are huddled by the wall, right? because my kids used to have bunk beds, and they're huddled by the wall in the dream, and then a jihadi is walking inside the house, right? And he has this big gun. They're scared. I'm not. I find myself going into the kitchen, getting a piece of bread and breaking it and giving it to the jihadi. And in that dream, I remember him looking at me confused and taking it. And then I wake up. I forget about that dream for a while. I sit. Now we go fast forward. The ISIS comes back on the TV. I turn off the TV. And I say, you know what, God? I'm tired of this. If Islam is so peaceful, why is all this happening in your name? I'm separating this from Palestine and ISIS. See, in my mind, Palestine is noble. What ISIS is doing is insane, not noble, which is what the majority of Muslims think anyway. Am I right? That is noble. This is not. This is not true Islam. That's true Islam. And then I said, but if Islam is so bad, like literally, I'm looking at, I'm thinking, I'm praying, I'm like, okay, Allah, if Islam is so bad, then why did you allow it to grow to be such a big religion? Problem of evil question. If so, that's what happened. And I remember I had my phone, I threw it on the sofa. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm a Hindu now. I'm a Buddhist. I don't want anything. Screw all Abrahamic religions. I'm done with this. Then I look out the window. I see the sky, and I was like, this is ridiculous. God exists. I guess I'm a Muslim again. Then one day, out of nowhere, a thought came into my brain. Because when you're sitting by yourself, who said it was a problem? I forgot which philosopher said it was a problem. Was it Marcus Aurelius? Where he said the problem is that people don't want to sit by themselves and think. People just want to keep, just doing things but just to think and wonder. Yeah, I was in the thinking portion of my whole life, during this time. And the thought that came into my head was because I was thinking about religion during this period of time, and when my father taught me about Islam and why that's true, how that's the seal of the prophets. And I was looking up, I was like, hey, what's the difference between Jesus and Islam and Jesus and Christianity? So the internet happened. I go and I Google difference between Jesus of Islam and Jesus of Christianity. And I forgot what website it was, but it had it was a chart. And I don't know how to explain this. This is all God by the Holy Spirit, like trying to work things out with me. And I'm an inquisitive kind of person. I'm not somebody that just believes stuff just to believe stuff, right? Like during this time, because 2016 was during the 2016 elections, and I figured out there was a lot of lying happening, all right? So this time was my fact-checking error, 2016. All right? So I go and I'm like, I look up stuff, and I'm like, here, I'm seeing the thing. You have Jesus in Islam he's going to come and break the cross and kill all the pigs, right? And I'm like, yes, I'm familiar with this. This is what Jesus is going to do. Jesus says that he's going to come back and redeem his church. This one says Jesus is a Muslim. This one says Jesus is a Jew. And then logic ended up hitting me. Judaism came before Christianity. And before Islam. And I'm looking and I'm comparing the two different Jesus. One seems very peaceful. One is healing. One died for sins. One is coming to destroy stuff and didn't die. Somehow, the substitution thing always bothered me. It didn't make any sense to me, like in a justice standpoint, even though that's what I was taught. That happens. And I'm like, I remember me just turning my phone off, and I'm like, this is 9 months into my marriage now. All right.
Hold that thought. Just back up real quick. What was it that bothered you about the substitution? So for anyone who's like completely new here, Most Muslims down through history and most Muslim commentators have interpreted Surah 4, verse 157 of the Quran as saying that Allah miraculously disguised someone else and made this other person die in Jesus' place. And one of the most common things you'll hear is that it was Judas, and you have lots of Muslims thinking that this is a more just position because Allah rescued Jesus and then a guilty person or some other person was crucified in his place. But it's interesting because it's like a complete reversal. It's a reversal of the gospel. Instead of the innocent Jesus dying on behalf of sinners, it's a sinner dying on behalf of innocent Jesus. And lots of Muslims say, isn't that a better position? Isn't it a better position if that's what Allah did? That's what I usually hear from Muslims. It's a better, more just position because Allah rescued the innocent person. You're saying you were bothered by the Islamic version of it.
Yeah, because it wasn't. It's like, okay, like Judas did what he did, but like just to take him, and he was just following the same people that wanted him dead anyways. Like he was just happened to be one of them. It's like, why? Yeah, that just didn't make any sense to me.
And kind of like what I always thought weird was that who's responsible for Christian belief that Jesus died on the cross? Well, I mean, it's Allah. Allah's the one who made everyone think that Jesus died. And so you have billions of people in the world today, not just Christians, but everyone except Muslims, who they all believe that Jesus died on the cross by crucifixion. Historians consider it one of the best established facts of the ancient world because there's so many sources on it and so on. And then it's like, who's responsible for deceiving these billions of people? Allah. And they say, why? Why do you do that? Oh, to rescue Jesus. Like, well, he didn't need to have someone else crucified and miraculously disguised. He didn't need to do any of that stuff. He could have just rescued Jesus. Jesus is gone. He's safe. What's the point of the deception? Why did you need to trick everyone into believing something that's false, especially if you're supposedly all-knowing and you know that your deception is going to start this huge false religion even after you promise Jesus to protect his followers until the day of resurrection, and then you deceive and mislead them. That always seemed especially weird to me, and I always wonder why more people didn't catch on to it. But yeah, you saw a problem there.
I wasn't that smart though. I didn't connect it to all of that though. That's not what it was. What actually finally had me decide I'm like, you know what, I'm a Christian now, was where Jesus said he calls himself the King of Kings. And then the hadith that says that the man that Allah hates the most is the man that calls himself, that. So I was like, huh. And then for some strange reason, except for like God, I throw my phone and I'm like, I have no idea what Christianity teaches. Like, I just know Jesus died for my sins. I'll figure out everything else now. I went to bed that night a Christian. I woke up and my first thought, how the heck am I supposed to tell my husband? When I tell you I was so fearful, let me explain something. When I told you earlier that I came from dysfunction. And when you come from dysfunction, the one thing that you want is stability. I wanted stability so bad. And I was like, this is what I have. Finally, I have stability. Finally, I have my own home. I'm married. We're just living like the regular life, how you're supposed to live. God was like, he took that right from under me and took that stability from me. And I'm like, how now am I going to go tell my husband, who is a Muslim, that I was married to now for 9 months, that, oh yeah, I'm a Christian now. I prayed so much that God will soften his heart. And he would at least get saved, like things wouldn't be bad, because I know the punishment of Islam, like when you leave Islam. I get that already. So I prayed about that. 3 months later, what happens? He comes home from work. I hide it completely. I hide reading my Bible. I hide all these things. Which reading the Bible took a long time for me to read. because I was afraid if I were to open up this Bible and read it, I was going to get disappointed like how I got disappointed reading the Quran. So it took me a while for me to finally crack open the Bible. And then I cracked open the Bible, read the book of Matthew, came across chapter 5, and that was it for me. It's like I've never cried tears reading anything in the Quran. And I remember where Jesus also said, what comes into your mouth is not what defiles you, it's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. And I remember the very first prayer the Lord answered me was God, because I was fresh from New York still. You know, when you're from Brooklyn, you have a certain lingo that you like saying, okay? It's just natural flowing out. The first thing that I prayed was, God, I don't want to be defiled. And then from then on, my speech has been cleaned. How do I explain this now to my ex? Now ex. So I pray, and then one day he comes home from work. I sit down, I put his food on the table. He's sitting on the coffee table. He's sitting on the sofa. I sit next to him. He opens up his phone, and the first thing I see on his phone is he's watching porn. I get pissed off, you know, I'm still not fully sanctified yet, okay? I take his phone, I throw it, and I yell, what the heck is going on? And all of a sudden it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. I'm hiding God, and this is what he's hiding? So he's sitting down, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I calm down. And I look at him face to face, and I tell him, I need to tell you something. And he goes, what? And I go, I'm no longer a Muslim. I'm a follower of Christ now. And David, when I tell you that it felt like there was a physical presence of God around me, like I was inside of a cloud, and I had this big, fat, goofy smile on my face that it was hurting my cheeks, and I couldn't stop it. And he's in front of me. I'm seeing him through this cloud, and he has tears streaming down his face. It wasn't until later on he thought that I was just being mean. Like, why am I crying? And she has this big goofy smile on her face.
That would be a funny diss for like Muslim women. Like, hey, I caught you looking at porn. Oh yeah, well, I'm a Christian now, huh? In your face.
Yeah. So he's crying. I have smile on my face, and then all of a sudden I tried to share with him Jesus and who Jesus was. And I'm sitting down with him, and I'm talking to him about how Jesus came and he died on the cross. And I'm fully convinced that this dude is going to hear these things that he never heard before a day in his life, because he has a past of telling me how he doesn't like missionaries. He was born and raised in Jordan. All right. He came across Christian missionaries. Christian missionaries are not really liked by the Muslims in these countries.
Oh no, calling a Christian a missionary is like an insult in Islam. These missionaries, blah blah blah. That missionary.
Yeah. So they don't like them, and then all of a sudden, I'm here being a missionary, right in front of him. So he's like, "What's going on here?" And then he looks at me and he goes, "Oh." And then the first thing that I say to him was like, Muhammad hit Aisha. I can read Arabic some. He has a brother that lives in Saudi Arabia, right? So he goes and he texts his brother. This is the first time I ever heard this argument, okay? I go ahead and I text, he texts his brother and asks about, did Muhammad hit Aisha? And tells him how I left Islam and I'm a Christian now. So they're mocking me. He's all the way in Saudi Arabia. He's laughing, mocking me. And then all of a sudden he looks at me and was like, oh, he didn't really hit her. He hit her with the miswick, the toothbrush. That was the first time I've ever heard that. You ever hear something so stupid that your brain just turns off?
Yeah, every time I hear a Dawa guy.
like, did you just say that? I mean, like, even if that's not what it says, but even if that is what it says, that's still demeaning. Whether it's an actual hit, or poking her like she's just some kind of dog that you want her to get to do something. That's demeaning. You
And
don't do that.
she said it. She said it hurt her. She said he struck me in my chest, which caused me pain.
That's what yeah. And then homie was like, well, the Quran is the beautiful sounding of the Quran argument. You know what I ended up doing just to have him not bring up that argument anymore? I pulled up John Coptic chant. It's in Arabic, chanting the Gospel of John, chapter 1. And for people that don't know Arabic, would think this is the Quran playing. I was like, that's nothing new. Here, listen to this. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? And he never brought up that argument again. Now, I did try to go ahead and share the gospel with him multiple times. There's one I told him about the apostles, how they died. I told him about the apostle Paul, his transformation. And he looked at me when I talked about the apostle Paul. He was like, and you believe that? And I'm like, yeah, I believe that. Why wouldn't I believe that? I end up, now there's a period of time where I haven't joined a church yet. So this 3 months where I didn't tell my dad yet join a church. So I was lone Christianing it for a while, wasn't yet like these things. And then after I told him I finally joined a church, was baptized, because my kids aren't his biological kids. So I was able to raise them Christians. Side note, the kid's father don't know just yet. So I go
he might now.
You know what? Praise God, because my son, I don't know how this happened, but God works in so many ways. He wants to be a pastor. So he's already planning on doing all these things.
Awesome.
How
he
has a very Muslim name. He's a senior in high school right now. He's going to start going to a Christian college and seminaries next year.
Awesome stuff.
He went from wanting to get a job and become like a business lawyer, a job where he can make a lot of money so he doesn't have to struggle like how we see his mother struggle to get a lot of money, to out of nowhere, he would get mad at me. I looked at him, I was like, you're going to be a pastor one day. And he was like, I don't want to do nothing with ministry. And then one day, whiplash, I'm minding my own business last year. And I'm scrolling through TikTok, minding my own business. Hey, Mom, can you go sign me up for the preview? I feel like God's calling me to ministry. The whiplash. I was like, wait, what? I haven't told him I told you so yet. I'm going to wait until he's like 56 years old. I'm going to be like, I told you so. But, so I was able to go and to take them to church with me and all these things. So every Sunday they'll go to church. I'll share the gospel with him. And I really tried my very best. Mind you, when you're a Christian, you're changing, okay? There's a process of sanctification. So you're growing in the faith, right? So in this growing in the faith, I've got mad. Like I got a mouth on me at times. I have my opinions. There's things, but continue to rein in and still continue to show forgiveness and love and go ahead and remember this dude doesn't have the Holy Spirit, but I do. And try to be that wife that you could win him without a word. Because it looked like during this time, no matter how much I talk about the gospel, it ain't happening. He's heard it, and the Lord's word never goes in vain. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to continue try to be my best, try my very best to be a good Christian woman here. Because he hasn't given me any indication except for he was embarrassed of me. Why? Like I used to be a Muslim. Now I'm a Christian, and around his friends to go parade me around his friends, it wasn't gonna happen. All right, so I never.
No, and you see the same thing when someone leaves Islam, like the reaction of the parents. It's like shameful. It's like you did a terrible job as parents if your son or daughter leaves Islam. But it would be the same thing for a husband or anything. Like your husband and your wife leaves Islam. It's like, what kind of crap job were you doing, dude? And so it's like shameful.
Yeah.
Like Nabil's parents, it was so humiliating for them, for their son to leave Islam. They moved. They moved so that they wouldn't have to like face the rest of the community there. That's how embarrassing it was for them. So
Yeah, I remember the first time where this actually hit. He was invited to a wedding and my name wasn't even on the invitation card. So there was that. But in my head, I'm still thinking it's because of my faith. And the Bible tells you count it all joy, and I still have my mission, still have to still be a representative of Christ and try my best. I'm feeling like it's my mission field. So, well, he did learn that not all people that leave Islam, all women that leave Islam just want to get drunk and sleep around, because I didn't do those things. So that broke, because that's what, the same kind of mentality that they have. So that on him is like, oh no, she's not doing these things. That means this kind of stereotype isn't right. So I was, praise God, able at least to break that stereotype. And if that was the case, if somebody was going to leave Islam because they want to sleep around and drink, why don't they just become an atheist? Why become a Christian? That doesn't make sense. I did try to teach her about the Trinity and how it's not believing in three gods and pointing to the Quran in that way, how the Quran is wrong there. He still wouldn't believe it at all, no matter what I said. I'm like, I'm telling you what I believe. He wouldn't hear it. But there turned out to be and it's just the marriage itself was very hard, because Middle Eastern men, Muslim men in particular, they are the ones, I am the man, you're just the woman. I get to go out and do what I want and do what I please. He was born and raised in Jordan. Then, one day, he comes and he tells me, we need to get a divorce. This is like 7 years later, right? Around COVID time.
Wait, do you mean 7 years from when you're married, or 7 years from
getting saved, becoming a Christian?
Okay. So you're with him for 7 years after becoming a Christian?
Yeah. Hear this. This is around COVID time. He gets in the mail his appointment for him to go get his swearing in for his citizenship. After he gets that appointment for him to get his citizenship, that's when he comes and he tells me, we need to get a divorce. Why you need to get a divorce? It's like, Sarah, you're an apostate. He tells me in Arabic. I'm like, everything just crashes down on me now. And I'm like, I'm praying for this marriage. God, what's happening over here? And I don't know what to do. I mean, mind you, I want to go and have a stable situation. He's like, oh, you can live in this apartment until the lease is done. Because he already apparently canceled the lease, didn't renew it without even telling me. So it's now like a month later. I have a very bad relationship with my mother, but like, where else am I supposed to go? The reason why I married him 3 months after I met him is because she didn't want me around. All right. What am I supposed to do? And I just sit there, and then he ends up coming back all the time. I was like his security blanket. He was very controlling. So he would leave. He lived at his friend's house in a room, but he would continue coming back. All right. And he'll come back. He knows I'm cooking dinner for the kids. So he'll come back and he'll eat and talk. And then I'm against God's will, because God says if somebody wants to leave you, just let them go. I go and I tell him, listen, because you're always here, if you change your mind, I wouldn't bring this up anymore. All right. I just took, like, I'm in a very vulnerable state. I don't know what to do. So a little while later, he turns out to have changed his mind, and I kept my promise. I didn't bring it up again, right? Then we have to rush and scatter, finding another apartment to move into, because he didn't renew the other lease, and somebody else already signed a lease to come to move into that apartment. That next year, he goes to Jordan, and he stays there for a month. After he comes to Jordan, he comes back 3 days later. After he comes back, he said, we have to go get a divorce. This is when I told him, this time, if you go ahead and you want to take me back somehow, the answer is going to be no. I'm not a toy to keep playing back and forth with me. I took you back before. And why did you come back? He goes, I didn't think you were going to take this Christianity stuff so seriously. Best compliment I could have gotten from anybody. Okay? He thought it was just going to be a phase. He thought after it's like this was a threat situation now, where he left and he came back, but now she's going to be on her toes, you know, afraid that he was going to leave again and she's going to come back to Islam. And that didn't happen. A year passed by and she's still a Christian, going to church. Even when I'm sick, her son still goes by himself. Like me, like, or if I have to stay with my daughter, she's like he would still go by himself. It's like all this stuff is, her Bible is just laying around on the sofa. She's still taking this stuff seriously. And I'm still trying to talk to him and bring him to Christianity. I remember I had a conversation with him and I was like, hey, you know, I talked to you a lot about Christianity, but you've never tried to win me to Islam. Like, we never had an actual debate going back and forth. You know, I would tell him, I'll point out things about Islam and then what Christianity teaches, and he'll just go, but no actual conversation. And I was like, what about Christianity? What about Islam do you like? I would like to have a good conversation going back and forth, like a good faith debate.
Hey, you can always, for anyone else out there who's in that situation, I'm saying that because I hear from lots of people who are like, hey, I have this friend or this family member or something. They don't want to talk about it. Guys, go Surah 16, verse 125. It's a command. You have to invite people to Islam. So you can always say, hey, the Quran tells you to be inviting me to Islam. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing that? Sorry for the interruption. Just wanted people to have the reference if that comes up. Oh, wait. Yeah. One more second. We have breaking news, everyone, because we have AP live messaging everyone about what's going on with the debate. But he said, Andrew Wilson is destroying Daniel and Islam as we speak. That's always good to know. Hang on. But hey, think about how this ties in here. Andrew Wilson's opening statement, Islam massively increases cousin marriage, which makes societies retarded. Therefore, Islam is bad for society. That really sounds like an Andrew Wilson type argument. Oh man. Yes. Oh gosh. Good to know. Good to know that Andrew is schooling. Who wouldn't have known that was going to happen? That Andrew was going to crush Daniel. Andrew's a better debate.
Me.
What's that?
Apostate Prophet just complimented me. He said he was worried that I wasn't going to be cool enough for the stream.
What are you talking about? She's way cooler than you, AP. AP's like, I'll just make a bunch of dumb zoot jokes and make some stupid AI songs and have no interesting thoughts of my own.
AP catfished me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. See, when I first became a Muslim, I thought I was the only Muslim when I first became a Christian, I thought I was the only Muslim to ever leave Islam, period. Right? So I was like, what is going on here? What do I do now? Because nobody ever leaves Islam is what you're always told and brainwashed. Not now. This was back 2016. 2025, praise God, the avalanche, okay? So I came across Nabil Qureshi, and I was like, and I'm like, whoa, there's another one.
Oh, no, this is serious. So you're saying this is what did you say, 2016, 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really, I keep telling people that they have, like, they're like, oh, but Islam is something. You guys have no clue. Because I was involved in this like 2005, 2006, and there were almost no ex-Muslims anywhere. And those who were ex-Muslims usually weren't vocal about it because then they'd be targeted. But it was just like, it was a small handful of people who are publicly ex-Muslim on the planet. And you're saying just like, not even 10 years ago, you're like, are there any more ex-Muslims out there? Am I the only one? Because now it's like everywhere, all over the place. Amazing. And people are like, no, Islam's going to take over the world. Guys, the apostasy rates are going like that. That.
Yeah. Anyway. And then I come across you and I watch your videos and I'm like, I believed in this stuff. This is the religion that I believed in. One of my very first videos, which I thought was hilarious, was the ones that Muslims make fun of you when you were reading about how Muhammad gets his revelation wearing Aisha's clothes.
Oh, yeah, that was funny. I want to remake that one.
I was like, but I my mind wasn't focused on you wearing the clothes, though. My mind was focused on what you were reading. And then I always believed that that Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 because adoption was haram, and he loved her, and he wanted to protect her. That's what I was always taught. So anyway, and then a little
he wanted to protect her, even though her father is alive and well, and becomes caliph after him. Yeah,
but so I don't know how any of this stuff would make sense, but this is what happened.
No, it does. It's like it's built, and I've seen this for years. It was more common back in the day, but anytime you bring up anything, it's just people would automatically go to some noble reason for whatever he's doing, even if it makes no sense according to the sources, but they would just, it has to be a good reason. He's so great. There has to be, he can't be getting with this girl because he wants to have sex with her. There has to be this, even for like all, like the women who are captured in battle and his slave girls. No, it's this important, noble thing that he's actually trying to accomplish with this. And it's like, where you guys, there's not one word about any of this noble intention you speak of in your sources.
Yeah. So I was in shock mode, and it got me. I ended up becoming angry. I'm like, how come nobody told me this? Why didn't no Christian share the gospel? Why didn't nobody tell me these things about Islam? I live in the United States of America, where we're supposed to be having freedom of speech, which is, by the way, why I do what I do right now. It's not for any kind of whatever intent. You need to know these things and have it heard from everywhere, even if it's coming from a woman, which is disrespectful in Islam for a man, for a woman to be doing what she's doing. It's like, get a double whammy. Wake up. And I'm like, hearing these things, why didn't nobody tell me this? And instead, that joy of leaving Islam, it turned into anger, but that anger at Islam, not anger at Muslims. It was anger towards, like, I live in America. Where are the Christians? The amount of times that I've heard Christians tell me Jesus loves you, but nobody told me why. Why did Jesus love me? I remember I was waitressing at a table, and she asked me, where are you from? Because you have an accent. And I was like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn. And she goes, no, but you look different. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm half Egyptian. Oh, so you're Coptic? And I'm like, no, I'm Muslim. And then she goes, well, Jesus loves you. That's where that went straight there. So I'm hearing you and I'm wondering why. And then all of a sudden I'm like, this is wrong. Church, wake up. Like, this is not like, but that's it on my tirade on that situation. We shouldn't just be loving people to hell. We should be telling them why Jesus loves you and why he did what he did. You shouldn't be like, Jesus loves you. What's the point? Muslims always say that they love Jesus too. Oh, and we love Jesus.
Yeah, that's rough. I've heard from people who said, hey, I lived in this neighborhood for 20 years and not one Christian ever shared the gospel with me. Yeah. Until I met this person, and then it's like, and then it would always be, but 20 years before that, no one said anything.
But nobody shared the gospel with me. All I knew was what I read on that thing on the website, what Jesus did on the cross, and that's what I got shared from some random website on the internet, not from a Christian, that where Jesus told them in the Great Commission, go therefore and make disciples of all nations. The Great Commission, Jesus' last commissioning orders. Where was I up to on my testimony?
You started watching videos, and then you're talking about
AP, how he catfished me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I find AP and I find a video where he's telling the differences between Christianity and Islam, the Quran and the Bible, and he did such an amazing job. And I was like, whoa, another ex-Muslim Christian, subscribe. A little while, a few days, a week or two later, I go and I see atheists, and I'm like, he's an atheist? Why?
That's what AP would do. Cool. He would trick all the Christians into getting on his side to support him until he could be fully funded by Jews. We're not falling for this, AP.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's really there getting paid his $7,000. Um, so that happened. I remember I was like, because I'm so consumed with so much false teachings and stuff around me already with Islam and whatnot, that I wanted to at least keep my social media, my YouTube Christian, so I could have somewhere where I'm not getting bombarded with something. And I literally remember my finger hovering on the unsubscribe, and something told me, don't do it. And I didn't do it. Months later, you guys had your first collab. That's what happened with AP. Catfishing people.
So that was way, if you're watching pre-us collabing, that's like back in, hi everyone, this is the Apostate Prophet, and welcome, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, when you
Hope
guys
you're having a wonderful day.
A debate going back and forth with videos.
Oh yeah, we started, we never finished. We were going to debate the moral argument and stuff. And yeah, we started. We started and never and then I was busy with stuff and couldn't post my response, and then we kept planning to get back to it, and then he went into the agnostic category. It's like, "Oh, I don't even know. Well, you don't even have a firm position anymore." And yeah, then he reverted to the true faith, Christianity.
Yes. Reverted. Like, yeah. Yeah, so anyways, he ends up we end up getting divorced. So he even goes to the lawyer, my ex, without even telling me. He gets papers without telling me. Me, out of pride, I was like, I could have stretched it out, the divorce proceedings, and got alimony and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I want nothing from you. I go and I sign the papers. This just to show him I'm done. You can't keep doing these things. But now I have an issue. I dropped out out of high school when I was 16 years old. All right. So I didn't even have a high school diploma.
That's like my mom.
I have
like my mom. She got pregnant with me when she was 15. She never finished high school, but I'm glad because she could have gotten rid of me and finished high school. So.
Oh, praise God, she did it. Yeah. See, all things work for good. But so I'm like, what am I haven't worked. I was a stay-at-home mom / wife for a hot minute. Even I had somebody at my church help me come up with a really good, smart-looking resume, but who's still gonna hire me because there's this huge gap. So I work now. I'm still living under the same roof now with my now ex. All right. Because I have to start getting on my feet. The reason why I haven't yet gotten at this time my GED, because he wasn't somebody that encouraged me in any way, shape, or form. You know, there was no encouragement. I said, you should do this and you should do that. It was constant bogging down. Looking back at that time, I didn't know it was a form of abuse. Now I know. All right. But I'm like, I gotta get this stuff set. So what I ended up doing was just like, this is ridiculous, Sarah. You were an adult. You got to start doing the adult things. And who cares what other people are going to say or make you feel like crap for? Just, you're an adult. That's enough. So I go to my local community college and I start signing up for GED classes. And I made it really close together so I don't come up with any excuses. So I ended up signing up and I had 5 days. I go and I studied my butt off so much, including the math. All right. I had so much information inside of my brain. I'm surprised. Like, I would finish at the end of the day where my eyes and head would feel so hot. Okay. And I would go and I get my GED and I would pass with such good grades that even my son looked at it. He was like, Mom, you're smart. But to the glory of God. All right. But you want to know how I passed? I studied. But he meant it as being sarcastic because he kind of takes after me. But I remember me looking at my GED in my hand. I get it in the mail and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm stuck right now with this Muslim man inside the house. He's trying, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, now what? What do I do with this now? I passed. I didn't feel anything different. I got it in my hand. I open up the drawer where I have other papers and I just throw it inside. All right. I go and I start working on getting certification in project management because I need to do something. And I tell God, like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I want to work in ministry, right? And this whole time, God has been putting in my heart, open up a YouTube channel the entire years. If I tell you years, God's been telling me to go and share your testimony for years. And I'm like, no, 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 no. There was a period of time where I actually had a YouTube channel, posted up 3 videos, got scared of my now ex, took it down and shut it off. The YouTube channel that I have right now is just, I didn't post up my old videos. It's the same one, just me redoing it, right? So I was like, I'm reviving it now. I was in constant state of feeling like I was being disobedient to God. In the meantime, Valentine's Day comes up. He goes and he showers me with flowers and gifts trying to get me back. I feel awkward. What do I say to this unstable man? I ignore it. 3 months later, he sits down and he says, Sarah, you're right. I did wrong you. How about we go to the sheikh and go get remarried? I was like, what sheikh? I'm not a Muslim. I was like, oh, I don't know. I was so stupid. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. That was 3 months later. After we ended up getting the divorce, we stayed there for a hot minute. I was actually not very nice. I had a lot of animosity towards him during this period of time. One day I'm walking back from the gym, and the Lord put me in a situation where I was kind to a complete stranger, but wasn't showing mercy to the person that actually was close to me and hurt me in a way. It's like, where it came back was like, blessed are the merciful because they shall see mercy. So I was like, God, I did all these sins and you forgave me, and I can't even do this small little simple thing for your glory. So I ended up having to humble myself again and be a good Christian and apologize for all the mean, terrible things that I've said. So he still saw Christ-like behavior and how that was. One Sunday, I come back from church. I'm thinking my ex was working, so he's still supplying financially. So I'm like, I'm really trying not to be a mean person, so it's not for anything. So I'm like, the same way I'm cooking for the kids, I'll have something for him there too. I'm just trying to be nice. And then he says, oh, he's working. And then he texts me. And then he says that he's at the airport. Oh, I was too ashamed for me to go tell you, but I'm at the airport. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, he left. So I go and I check. He's like, go check. And I'm like, yo, you just left my daughter knew you since you were 2. You were literally a father figure. You just get up and just leave with only a month left in the lease. During this whole time before that, I'm planning on going to a Christian college to get a degree in worldview and apologetics. Okay? God answered my prayer of what I was going to do with that GED. Okay? My only worry now was he going to let me go ahead and take the kids' beds with me when I move out? Because I was going to move on campus. But he completely, utterly leaves and abandons. Me, it doesn't matter. It's the kids who grew up. But I'm like, you know what? The Lord is good. God provided, because there was going to be this period of 1 month, because it was still early. I wouldn't have nowhere to live. Not 1 month. Because a semester is like 6 months or so. Like, during this time, I would have nowhere to live, and we only have 1 month left to the lease. There is a pattern with this dude where he just cancels things and does things and screws other people over that's around him without giving people a heads up so they could fix things, right? Mm-hmm. What am I supposed to do now? I can't move on campus. I can't do all these things, but praise God, I happen to know one of the professors. He's retired now. I think you may. Can I type in the guest chat? Because I think you guys came across each other. Can I?
Let me see. How do I use guest chat?
You just press guest chat on the top.
I don't see any guest chat on here. You can send me an email real quick if you got it open.
Oh, okay. I could do that
Hang on
quickly.
No, not there. Where is it? Yeah, it pops up for other people, not for me.
Okay, 1 second.
I still have to actually, I've been using this program for like 10 years now and still don't actually know how to use it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I emailed it.
Let's see.
One second. I'm going to type once with.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, I know.
Seminary,
years,
right?
For years.
Yeah. He made it where he was able to talk to the seminary college place where I could be able to move in early. So what he ended up doing, him and his wife, they go and they gather up a bunch of students, college students, and he gathered them up. He even paid. I had some money I could have given. He didn't take it. He ended up getting a bunch of the college students here, packing up, taking out all my furniture and everything, put it in the back, and drove it all over here. The kids need to go back to class, so we got a bunch of the facility workers here, got all my furniture, put it on a crane, and put it inside of my apartment. And it was just like God, just like, hey, he's like, you were worried about beds? You got all your furniture. You're worried how you're going to get it moved? And you're here like, I'm not getting information. What's going to happen? Like, God took care of everything in that. And I remember he gave his last a sermon in that seminary, and he was talking about forgiveness. And I was trying to wonder what I was supposed to do over there because I struggled with that. And he also told me on the way to the seminary, to the school, he told me, he was like, Sarah, share your testimony. You need to make sure you share your testimony. And I'm like, okay. I don't know how I might end up going to do this. But I did little by little to here right now. And my kids, I think the biggest thing with me, like, my kids got to watch the goodness of God and his provision. Just during the past 2 or so years when we moved here, how God provided in all the ways, which led into a hand where my son changed his own track, where he felt like, this is where I want God to be. My son wanted a job where he could make money. Wait, I just see how God's providing for my mom and the house in here. She's not struggling like that. Like, it's like, yeah, it's tight, but somehow God provides. You know what? I'm not worried. I'm going to go take this different course. I think, and then here I am. And that, last week, I was reminded actually about me looking at my high school equivalency diploma, saying, what am I supposed to do with this? The day that I'm sitting in going through my academic appointment to come up for the next semester, talking about me also doing my MDiv. And I'm remembering my high school diploma thing. And there are times where I feel like I am not smart enough. I mean, like, I've been out of school for so long, you know? But God has worked a lot, and through the dysfunction, and I know I probably came out with like a lot of, my mind is hard. Like, I have thoughts in my head, and I'm like, because there's like so much, but like through the dysfunction and leaving Islam, and I'm like, here, I want to tell my story about leaving Islam, and I'm realizing, wait, there's a lot more that's just Islam. Islam is just a blimp. Look what I'm doing now. I'm reading Kierkegaard. What the heck?
That's what I say.
And just watching just the transformation in my kids. I don't know what else to say to that, man.
Well, that's awesome stuff. So your son's planning on heading off to Christian school next year?
His father's gonna have a rude awakening.
Well, I just wanted to toss the offer out there. Let us know when it's getting kind of close, and maybe we'll do a little fundraiser, and everyone can chip in towards his education.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So if money's a concern, we can raise some of that for him.
I'll let him know, because he doesn't really say anything about his concerns. He's just. I'll be like, hey, thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it is, yeah, I don't know. I think that's like the biggest thing. I'm like, I sit down and I'm like, I could pick at the smallest situations. Like I had to, divorce no matter what is hard. Whether it was a divorce like I came out of, or a divorce where people just hated each other. Going through the divorce, knowing God was still good to you, there's still that pain that's there, right? It's like, it gives you a reminder, though, for those who want to talk about divorce. It gives you a reminder how we still live in a very broken world that needs redemption. Not the person themselves. We live in a broken world. We live in a world where we need Jesus. Isn't that why Jesus came? Or did Jesus just come because we're all good and you want to say hi and just die for fun? Like, I want to know what was the point for some people. But here, like, this is how I think. But other than that, I broke free from all of that. And I praise God that I did not get a child in those years that I was married to this man. That I was able to completely and utterly just cut him off. Now, I hope he repents and becomes a Christian. Because as a Christian, that's what I want. But that's none of my business anymore.
After I mentioned we could be happy to take up a collection for your kid, we got absolutely.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. Heck yes. We got you, sis. Yeah. So we're good. We're good. All right. Well, awesome. So I have a link to everyone. I have a link to Sarah's page on X, so you can follow her on X, and to your YouTube channel. I didn't see any sort of like Patreon or anything. You thinking about setting something like that up?
I don't know if I should. Do I? I don't know. I'm still new. I had to like think through, do I even monetize my channel? But I did, Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't have that yet.
It's pretty easy. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to set up, and it's basically a situation where people see you're posting content, and if people like your content, they want to chip in, so you have more time to make content and stuff. And so always a good idea. Yep. All right, guys. Well, so yeah, there's a link to Sarah's YouTube channel there, where you can follow her videos and stuff, and a link to her X, and maybe she'll set up Patreon or something like that. And I guess you could start. You could jump in with us occasionally here when we're doing live streams on topics. You can tell us any topics you're interested in, and if we're gonna talk about something like that, then we can you can go ahead and jump in. You'll be you're more fun to listen to than AP.
Thank you. AP's cool, even though he's catfished me into following him.
Yeah, that's what AP did.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Not
like what the El Zut did to Muhammad.
Yeah, people are gonna like clip this. Oh, she was catfished by AP. No, for anyone who tuned in late, she left Islam and became a Christian and heard AP talking about Christianity and Islam comparing Jesus and stuff. She's like, oh, I'm going to follow this guy. And then found out he was a evil atheist. Weird.
Yeah. Evil atheist. There's you know how AP Muslims can go ahead and make fun of his name? Muslims don't dare make fun of my name. They can't. They refuse to make fun of my name or do anything. So I would actually force them to say my name.
Yeah, I tried to think, why couldn't they? Because they call him a prostate prophet, but you can't say a prostate of Allah. You can't say stuff like that. You can't make fun of them. Yeah, I get it.
Like, you have to say, what is my name? Say this.
Yeah, you should that could be like your catchphrase. And all you Muslims who are mad at me, say my name.
Say my name.
That'd be good, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We started off with Jai and DoC, but I knew it was late for them, so they went ahead and cut out earlier. So that was good. All right, let's take these. You good on time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, we'll go through the super chats in case anyone had any questions or objections. Sadly, because of the depraved minds of people on the internet, I expect a lot of zut jokes.
I'm one of them.
Weird. Weird. So we have Night of Al-Zut is traced to 618, Surah 88, which explains semen comes from the backbone and ribs, arrive between 618 and 620. It's scientific. I have to say that's a powerful case right there.
Okay. I brought this up with my ex. But the semen comes between the backbone of the and the ribs.
I thought you were about to say Al-Zut. I was like, what? Why? It's kind of a joke.
and also how the Quran teaches about how the baby's form is the blood clot first and whatnot. I'm like, because he talks about the scientific miracles, and he just tried to tell me, how did Allah know? How did Muhammad know about honey being so good? I was like, each Egyptian's been using honey for mad long. So then he ends up going to go talk about this, and I was like, the science actually disproves that. Well, the Jews changed the science. Disprove, try to keep people away from Islam. So help me, that's what happened. The Jews changed the science.
Yes, the truth is that semen forms between the backbone and ribs, but the Jews lied about it in all their hospitals. They're covering.
Doesn't help.
They're
man
covering,
was Jordanian Palestinian, man.
Covering up the truth. It's funny? Because tomorrow, going to be talking about Muhammad stealing a bunch of his teachings from the Talmud. But on that particular issue in the Hadith, Muhammad said that the child remains as a drop of semen for 40 days, which is completely false. What's interesting is that comes from the Talmud. Like, they're both wrong. They're both wrong. But like, seriously, Muhammad, you say 40 days exactly like the Talmud, and you're both wrong. It's not like, see, if two things are both right, it could be independent. You could have both gotten to the truth independently. When Muhammad's sitting there talking to these Jews of Medina, and the Talmud says child remains as a drop of semen for 40 days, like completely medically false. And then the same thing ends up as a quote from Muhammad in Islam's most trusted hadith collections. Like, yeah, I think you're stealing some stuff here, dude.
And stealing the most weirdest of things, too.
Mm-hmm. Islam is sound the alarm. It's the is alarm. I adopt apostate, a catchphrase. I am cute. Boom.
You know what? I think I have a character called Ahmad, where I do this satirical thing where I just you just show the ridiculousness of what Islam teaches. One of them I did it on how his wives, and I did one of how wives can't learn how to speak and you have to be quiet, and I asked about the miracle of 3 ajwa dates and dipping flies, and I had this whole thing where I had flies in a water bottle with yellow water with yellow food coloring, and I'm like,
yeah, we've had our shares of water bottles filled with what's supposedly camel urine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be like, I'll go when I do that, I'll be like, I am cute, boom.
Hey, people have been requesting an all-female version of Islamicize Me for years. Maybe we'll put something together eventually. Jack Ray says, Al-Zut jokes are wholesome. I apologize for the depraved. It's very Islamophobic to play the song, Who Let the Dogs Out, while they pray in the streets. It is very Islamophobic. I had a nice dream of Momo giving Al-Zut pony rides. That's one of the meanings of the word that's used. Did you see video of Houston man interrupting Muslim public prayer by reciting the Lord's Prayer with booming voice? Very impressive. No, but yeah. And keep in mind, guys, if Muslims are like minding their business and praying in the mosque and stuff like that, I have no inclination to bother them. When they're like blocking traffic or taking, that's different. That's like in your face. And it's not just a message to you, like we're here to dominate. It's a message to Muslims in other parts of the world, like, look, no one will stand up to us. No one is standing in our way. Come here. These people are basically begging to be conquered. So, yep, if it's public and it's in your face, again, that's freedom of expression in the United States. So you could use your freedom of expression to respond to their in your face thing that they're doing. Do Muslims understand if Christianity is true, it means they will not go to heaven? Do they believe humans have body, soul, and spirit, a trinity? Yeah, I think Muslims would understand if Christianity is true, they have a problem, because Islam would be the massive denial of basic Christian doctrine. And as far as body, soul, and spirit, yeah, they wouldn't think of that as, it's not something like body and soul, or body, soul, and spirit are good examples of how something can be one in one way, more than one in another way. Wouldn't be an actual great parallel. So yeah, those examples can be good for that, but the Trinity would be different. Like Trinity, like body and soul can be separated like quickly, like in an instant. So there would be differences, but yeah, you can use analogies and so on as long as you clarify. Hey, I'm not saying this is something that's really, really like the Trinity. It's a response to your objection about something being one in one way more than one in another way. But you can use all kinds of Islamic examples of that kind of thing. Like they'll have 10 different qira'at and say there's just one Quran. It's like, okay, so you have 10 different versions of the Quran that are somehow one. All aboard the Al-Zut Express NYC. Choo-choo. The Z train. I'm surprised Sam didn't call PBD Mo a whore. The Prophet got clapped.
By 30 men of Al-Zut.
Or 29.
Or 29.
I got saved on Easter too. God bless you. Hey, Hussein, what's up? It's Hussein Mashni, everyone. Will Allah come as Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yes, why not?
Yep. I was debating some guys. When I was fed up arguing, I said, let's zoot it out. Sadly, it was me against 30, so I was out-zooted. Yep. Never bring a knife to a zoot fight. Momo's farts sound like a drafty window. Why are people so mean? This lady's pouring out her heart and her life story, and you guys are like, oh, Muhammad. What?
I love it. I love it. I make Al-Zut jokes throughout the day, by the way.
Al-Zut jokes are going to last forever, ladies and gentlemen.
I showed a classmate one of the Boom Boom Room videos. I was like, here. And he was like, yo, that's crazy. And I showed him an Islamicize Me video. And he was like, wow, like this is very informative, but Muslims actually believe this? Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that when we were posting, when I was posting Islamicize Me, we were getting messages from Shia Muslims saying, yes, we're showing this to our whole family to show how stupid Sunni Islam is. Thank you for posting this. It was awesome. Like, all right. Oh, you know what's funny? It was like early on during the first few episodes of Islamicize Me, when I was posting them, I was still editing the rest, but I would just edit like the day before, like whatever the episode is going to be for the next day. So we basically recorded all the tons of footage and all these goofy situations and stuff, and then I was just editing them as I was posting them. but it affected I had no idea that kids were going to be watching. Like for some reason, it never crossed my mind that people were going to be watching with their kids. But we were getting messages from Christians, especially like Middle Eastern Christians, who were like, yes, we watched this with our whole family. And then Shia Muslims saying they were sharing that with their kids and stuff to expose Sunni Islam. But that was affecting my editing later on. I was like, uh-oh, I can't.
Listen,
I can't have this part.
Yeah, you come and watch. You come and watch. Wait, listen, you have fans of all generations. Think about that. See, my daughter is going to be. I'm just gonna. It's like I. There are times where I'd be like, "Is this good parenting? Like, should I be concerned?" And the answer is yes, both. But But just think about the next generation, these kids as they grow. There's hope. Everybody's like, well, look at the UK, look at this. No. There are children that are going to grow up and become adults who have watched David Wood. The world is okay.
Good stuff, everyone. Going to raise a whole generation. Paul says she reached a logical conclusion on Promise of Paradise. So this is when you're thinking about jihad. Armin Davabi found another one in Shia Islam. Dying before 13, he tried to end himself at 12. Yeah, I might need to get Armin on there to share that story sometime. Quran recitation sounds like an old fax machine. It sounds like something. As a Muslim, did you hear about the apparitions of Our Lady of Zaytun around 1970? If so, what was your take on it? Do you ever hear about that as a Muslim?
No, but what I did hear, like this particular thing, no, not as a Muslim, but what I did hear as a Muslim is like anybody that sees like any like supernatural or has a dream about Jesus or anything, it's automatically shaitan. It's automatically the devil. Like that's it. There's that warning. You can't. It's like if you saw a man in your dream in white and stuff, I'm like, this is not it. So they warn you against it. Like he's trying to take you out of Islam. So if like any kind of apparitions and stuff, automatically say jinn or whatever.
You have a marriage proposal here. The Mind of Ray Ray. He says, I'd like to take this moment to propose to Apostate of Allah since she's officially single. This is neither the time nor the place. This is not the dating game show. Mind of Ray Ray. So you can send me your application and I will decide if I should forward your proposal. The Quran condemns polytheism, but originates from a pagan pantheon with the chief god Hubal as Lord of Mecca before Muhammad changes the script, broke 360 idols, kept one. Allah is essentially Baal 2.0. That's not haram. That's not haram. Revelation 3:9, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet and to know that I've loved you. Muhammad was a diddler of Ahruf, while Al-Zut did to him 29 times as he did to 9. Jack Ray has a weird mind. What is 1 divided by 30? Hey, Muhammad. You didn't need to put Al-Zut. We got it, Jack Ray. We got it, Jack Ray. It's like, oh, what's he mean by... I only ever give to Christians and church organizations. I made an exception for AP after Central Dawah threatened him and he became a Christian like a week later. This AP was scared by Central Dawah.
He scared him into the kingdom.
Most religions, even non-Christian ones, aren't this incoherent. Islam is the only faith where the most observant people are the least knowledgeable. First time super chatting. Love your stuff. Cool. Watching D Wood since high school, 20 plus years ago. Wow. Do you imagine if I survived like another 10 years? That would have been a long time. I'm already, like, as of like, well, One, I'm already the oldest person in my bloodline right now. I'm already the oldest person. Everyone else has died. But the guys usually die right around 50. So I'm 49. So when I'm thinking like 60 or something, that's like super, super old age. I also went through a horrible life of pain, lost everything twice, bad divorce, and my ex-wife left me and 2 boys to do drugs and sin. Jesus has always made a way, even when all went bad. Praise God. Awesome stuff. God bless Andrew Wilson for destroying Islam. I pray he'd repent of his sins and come to accept Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. Yeah, that one will be worth checking out. Ooh, worth reviewing. Could always review. Andrew Wilson versus Daniel Hakikachu. Dang, now
That's a stream I'd like to be on.
What's that?
That's a stream I would like to be on.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Dang, now my eyes are sweating at this wonderful testimony, not like Momo was sweating after the Al-Zut got done with him.
And he didn't shower.
People think they can just insert Al-Zut jokes into anything. You guys think you can insert Al-Zut into anything? What's wrong with you? D. Wood, a place Protestants, Catholics, and Orthos all get along. Yep, all the time.
Al-Zut did the inserting.
This was an easy one. I tossed that one out there. She nailed it. Not in the Al-Zut sense. What is this? Conte Patiro.
Nobody here has the gift of speaking in tongues.
That means with
ChatGPT. What does this mean?
Moment the semen ends up near the semen ends up near his backbone and rib.
He made it appear like
the Al-Zut got catfished by Muhammad with him cross-dressing. That's why it was at night. Yeah. He's like, hey, big boys. Like my new dress? Want to meet me in the desert? Glad we have such a great Zut community, inshallah. Yeah, we do have the best of all Zut communities here. My wife told me, think about the Al-Zut. You will have a great day. The Al-Zut is taking over. Funny if the Al-Zut dilemma actually destroys Islam. I was about to say what was coming out next week, but you guys will see. Have you heard of Kamal Salim? He's an ex-Muslim. Yeah, I heard of Kamal a long time ago. I think he's a professor now somewhere. The story of Muhammad and Satan masquerading as Gabriel reminds me of the Diablo 2 cinematic with Marius thinking he's Baal. I don't know any of this stuff you're talking about. You said, if you know, you know. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm guessing that other people know what you're talking about. The church bell rang 29 times for each man of the prophet Al-Zuting.
What does that mean?
I don't know. 29 times.
Oh, no. Get the hard questions.
And Apostate of Allah. Thoughts on wingalings. Would you date a wingaling? From the channel Pizza Zut.
Your name group ends with illings.
Yeah. No one wants anything to do with the wingaling community. They're the creepiest people ever. All right, everyone. We're going to go ahead and take off now. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to share with everyone before we go?
Just stay away from Islam and share. Don't love people to hell. Share with them the gospel. Let them know the truth. And don't be... I think about Philippians... Hold on. I'm going to read 1 second. I was like...
Take your time. We're in no rush.
Okay. I know where it is. Come on, Philippians. You know what? Why am I going to do this? Let me go start flipping through. Let me get my Bible app. Philippians 2.
Crimson said, can you try to explain why modalism is heresy versus Trinity? Well, it's because God is actually
Okay.
one person who keeps changing. So it wouldn't be three eternal persons. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, as from Philippians 1, starting at verse 27, it says, only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ. So whether I come and see you or I am absent, I may hear of you that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, striving side by side for the faith of the gospel, and not frightened in anything by your opponents. This is a clear sign to them of their destruction, but of your salvation from that from God, for it has been granted to you that for the sake of Christ, you should not only believe in him, but also suffer for his sake, engaged in the same conflict that you saw that I had now here, that I still have. Do not be afraid. Share for the gospel. Paul's over here in prison writing these things, telling people to have joy and to contend for the faith. And don't worry about these Muslims coming about you. I'm going to get some mean words, death threats and stuff coming. I'm like, you know how many things Muslims be like, either threatening to rape me or sending me porn videos on X? You know how many times I go and I find things like these death threats and stuff, but like, you mentioned this, David, when I'm like, this what happens. Like, as soon as you refresh, it disappears. So what? This is how I look at it. So what? What are they gonna do? I look at them like to die. Like what? To live is gain to Christ, but to die is gain.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I don't want to stand before God and God to be like, okay, you had all these gifts. Why didn't you share the gospel? Why didn't you tell somebody about Jesus? And then feel ashamed.
Well, everyone, there's nothing I can really add to an ex-Muslim quoting the Apostle Paul to give you some advice on how to live as a Christian. So, catch y'all tomorrow. Link to Apostate of Allah's, Sarah's X channel and her YouTube channel in the description box. Be sure to follow her. And she'll be with us again. Catch y'all next time.